Hi everyone, Nikki here. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you to everybody that picked up their kits. Today we're kicking off our summer season with some Seashell Planters. Super fun, super summery, and easy today. So go ahead and grab everything. We'll go over your materials and make sure to get your glue gun heating up. We'll be using that straight away. Okay, let's get crafting. All right, so I sent home everybody a nice 6-inch terracotta pot. You also got a little plant holder with it. And then you also got this little device. I think this is for like drainage when you put your plant in. So you would just put it in this way and then put your soil. And then I think it just helps it when you water it to be able to, keep the soil healthy. All right. So today's super easy. You barely need me. I sent home a variety of shells. Maybe just pay attention, especially in the beginning, just because I have a couple tips on how to start your design. But you should have plenty of shells for your project today, depending on how big you make the rows of shells. So let's get our glue gun started, and you might need a couple extra sticks, so grab those. But today should be super fun and super easy, all right? Now, one thing to note when you're putting the glue on the other side of the scallop shells, it's easy to burn yourself because they're so thin and placing them. So if you do have gloves or those little finger stoppers, that's probably suggested if you're a klutz like me. Or just be super careful because the hot glue can burn. So what I did is I started the base with these 5 large white shells. As you can see here, I kind of placed them evenly around, so you could even kind of measure from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I did the next row, like the overlapping, whatever color ones you have in your kit. Everybody's are different. I had, gave you what I had. And then after that, it's just kind of like overlapping rows, however you can make them fit in. I gave everybody a couple extra if you want to make it really densely settled, or if you have other shells you want to put in, little smaller ones, that's up to you. Just be a nice little beachy theme for sure. All right, so yeah, let's just start out. I'm just going to take my 5 bigger white shells that I gave everybody and just start, and make sure you don't have them like pushing down too far, because then when you go to put your plant down, so just make sure they're going to be even and flush with the bottom when you're doing it. All right, so I just plop some glue on here, a little on the sides, and this is where you have to be careful because it's super hot. All right, there we go, and then just press on. The hot glue dries quick. Like I said, just being careful to not have them pushing down farther below where the pot sits. Okay, so they're probably going to be just about that far apart, just a small space between each one that'll fit the 5 on the bottom. Okay, so I'll go to my next one, as careful as I can here. Just need a little on each side. Where you want to put the most is those flat little ledges at the bottom. There we go, perfect. Okay, so that's about how much space I left. And you could even do like a pre-measure if you want to just see, in case your shells are different sizes than mine. Made sure that everybody did get at least. Yeah, so I can actually, these ones are a little big, so I can put them in closer probably going forward. If you want to do like a little pre-measure like that, that's smart. Okay. Pretty close here, just so we have space for everybody. Press it on there, and you're working with 2 materials that are pretty hot glue friendly. So, but don't be shy with putting on enough to make them really stick. All right, so I got my first row, so now let's start going through our other shells and choose what we want to do next. Okay, so next up we're going to take another 5, and we're just going to place them in between the bigger shells, overlapping. All right, so same concept, healthy amount of glue, test it out, make sure it's really on there, and make sure they're not overlapping down below. Okay, so go ahead and glue those 5 overlapping ones on your base, okay? And then we'll get back together. Just like that. Sometimes it helps to like throw a little glue in there while you have it in the spot you want it. It'll dry clear. Okay, so go ahead around and just do those 5. Okay, so now I have my base here. So I've got my 5 big white shells, and then I just went every other with these colorful ones. So now going forward, you're going to be working with your smaller shells. So as you can see, some of them I overlapped here, a couple I was able to like tuck in. So you're just going to kind of trial and error, see what works as you're going along. I did 2 more rows after this first base row. So that should be about what you're doing with yours. So yeah, you'll have an array of ones like this size. So like I said, some of them might fit nicely going in between here. And then maybe the next one overlapping the white. So you got a lot of options there. So this one I'm going to tuck in. Just kind of fit them together like a little puzzle as best you can. Be careful, a little bugger just hurt me. Nasty little guy. Okay, you see how I kind of like tucked that one in? That looks nice. So feel free to kind of take a look at the shells that you got and, you know, decide maybe some of the lighter one you want to put, you know, overlapping that way. But you can't go wrong. It's going to look really nice either way. Okay, so why don't you get working on your second row. All right, so I'm chugging along here. I'm kind of doing like an every other, a tuck in and then one over, one under. But I'm being kind of random with it just because they all have such pretty qualities, even the plainer looking shells. So yeah, I am also focusing on like my slightly bigger shells for this row and then putting maybe some smaller, saving my smaller ones for the top. Okay, so I'm about halfway done with my second row. So you're probably about the same. All right, so keep on rolling and being careful. The shells keep trying to snip me. So I've been kind of like doing that and then lifting up the top here and adding a little glue there just for safety. Okay. All right. Loving it. Coming along great. Okay. So we'll get back together in a few minutes and see how you're doing on your second row. Okay. So I just finished my second row. Just pulling off some glue strings here. Making sure everything's super secure. Give everything a test. All right. Looking really cool. So then my last row, we're just gonna kind of put them all on top because these smaller shells are a little flatter, so they're probably not raised up enough. So we're just gonna basically go along the top. And even if they're sticking out a little bit, if you wanted to do it that way, that still looks really nice, I think. Nice design element. Okay, so get myself another glue stick here and we'll get rolling on my third row. All right, making good progress here. I actually had some of mine kind of sticking over the top and I really like how it looks. So just got a couple more here. Hopefully this was super easy, no stress day for you. Fun way to use some seashells and make a little summery useful item for outside, for the garden. I've already been planting, so 'tis the season. All right, we got a nice little arrangement here. If for some reason you, when you're completing your project, you come up short on shells, let me know. Give me a call. I can probably track down some more for you. Tried to give you some extras in your kit. All right. I think I got the system down to not get burnt. All right. So I'm gonna do a small one here, and then I should be done. Kind of like lifting up the top and just squeezing in a little glue there. Safety first. I'll do one more little guy here and then we should be done. Okay, love it. Okay, here is our beautiful seashell planter. So I hope you enjoyed creating with me today. I look forward to seeing you all this summer and making some cool art projects. All right, have a great day. If you feel like sharing your design with me, you can email me, Nikki@porchflibrary.org. Have a great day. Thank you.